What's up with it, y'all? This is before, here, after. I'm gonna sound in real quick. What the fuck is up with TV? How the fuck did they use television, tell lies to your vision? How do they tell a lie to our vision, a third eye, through motherfucking TV? How do they program us with so much misguided information to where we see the world a certain way? Like, why do we see the world through a certain lens? And why is that lens that we see the world through, why is it so like mainstream? Like why do so many people see the world that way? Because that's what I'm trying to know. Is why do so many people do the same thing, right? Behave the same way. They have like these automatic mechanisms almost in their body, in their mind, and they kind of just like they just reenact what they do, what each other do, which is real fucking. It's interesting. It's just interesting because it's like, well, I don't like calling people bots. I don't like calling people, slaves. But sometimes I see it like that. Sometimes I do see it like, wow, these people are bots. Most people that I encounter on a daily basis, I look at them as if like they're under a sort of spell, and it's not like I'm per se looking at them or trying to look at them that way. It's just how they unravel themselves in front of me, and I see these patterns happening in these different people. And hey, I might have some of those patterns within myself, but I do my best to point my third eye at myself to see what the hell is happening with me, and I observe within to then see what happens in the external reality. But I do think that TV has a huge influence in terms of programming, in terms of setting your mind and your body to behave a certain way. So all I want to say is y'all be careful what y'all watching. Seriously, like, I know Netflix is hella popular, but there's a lot of shit on Netflix that programs your mind to behave and act a certain way. There's a lot of bullshit shows, and yet somehow Netflix still has some conscious shit. If y'all, I'm just gonna say it right here on here. If y'all haven't seen that show, Midnight Gospel, y'all need to check that out. That's a dope ass little cartoon that they made. It talks about like meditation and consciousness and stuff like that. It's entertaining ass cartoon. I like that. I like shit like that. I like when shit is like entertaining and educational, captures your attention, and especially living in like a place where a lot of us don't have a big attention span, and I had to work on it myself. So I understand that it's important to capture attention. It's important to have entertainment. So I think if more people step up and start entertaining and yet educating, then you can have a lot of like influence. And with that influence, you can do a lot of good things. You can do a lot of change. So I just thought it was interesting how like people behave a certain way, and they kind of have these patterns to them. And I just started like, all of a sudden a thought popped up in my head. I was like, oh wait, television, they program us for that. Not only that, but with radio too. We turn on, if you have a car, if you have any sort of vehicle, there's probably have a radio, right? It's so accessible. You just press the radio and there's music playing. Now most radio channels I hear are bullshit, and they're nonsense, programming you to behave a certain way. I see people behave in a certain way, and I'm like, oh, they probably got it from the music, because I knew that the music I used to listen to made me behave a certain way and act in the world a certain way that wasn't in accordance with the highest of vibrations and the highest of morals and principles. So I did a lot of fuck shit, right? So it's interesting to see how when I pointed the third eye at myself, I found some truth within me and how this character of mine behaves in this matrix. So if I know how it affects me and influences me, it probably affects and influences many other people. It's like television, just like the radio. So be careful what you listen to on the radio and what kind of music you take into, because they have subliminal messages. Because in music, as I remember Tentacion said it in one of his live streams, music is frequency programming. So sound frequency programming is one of the most powerful levels of influence that can just have an influence on your body and your vessel and your spirit. So sound frequency, therefore, you can also take a really good frequencies and blast that in your ears, and all of a sudden now you're feeling really good. When I listen to like 432 hertz or 528 hertz, the love frequency, and then the 432, which is like nature's frequency, I listen to these frequencies and some other frequencies that have a certain effect, and it does give me that effect. It does make me feel better. But at the same time, when I listen to some mainstream like hip hop song or pop song, it's being blasted through some shitty ass frequency, and the lyrics are garbage. It's telling you to behave in like an unconscious way, and you can see it like when your third eye starts to open and you start seeing these things. You start seeing these different artists kind of behave the same way, just like people. When your third eye starts opening, you start seeing people behave the same way. You start enacting in this matrix the same way. You start seeing artists and different influencers and stuff kind of behave the same way, and it makes you think like, damn, what the fuck is actually going on? Like, what is this pattern? So that's what I wanted to come on here and just talk about, is this TV programming, television, and televise your vision, right? Television. And I wanted to talk about just how just different shit has influences on our mind, our body, and our vessel, and our spirit. So yeah, just be careful, man. Be careful. Everything has an influence, Everything we've been taught in the mainstream media and pretty much schooling and shit like that has been majority of a lie. I'll probably make a separate video on just why going to school has been one of the biggest programming, especially in the youth, just people in general, one of the most powerful levels of programming that they've implemented into our consciousness, and how to actually change that around, how to switch the tables, how to come out of schooling, how to come out of all that shit, and say to yourself, you know what, I actually wanna behave a certain different way. I don't want to act and behave in what I've been taught, because what I've been taught may not be correct. I actually want to act and behave in a sense where I abide by the highest vibrational frequencies, and I raise my consciousness, because when you can do that, I swear there's a level of change that happens in your life in a positive direction. There's a level of change that happens. I've noticed in my life that automatically when I raise my vibrational frequency and I start raising up my consciousness, everything changes for the better. Everything in my life gets better. My body, my mind, my health, my spirit, my spiritual grounding connection with myself and the universe around me. It's all around great benefits to really deprogram yourself, to really detach from all of the bullshit. So I just want to come on here and kind of talk about that. Hope y'all been doing okay. Hope y'all take care of yourself and truly evolving every day to a higher level and higher way of being. Because big things are coming, including this December. As I talked about in a previous video, I'm hearing a lot about a huge consciousness shift happening around December time, and I'm still learning about what that consciousness shift actually is. But what I've been hearing is 3 consecutive days, there's going to be a huge influence in the stars, in the heavens, that's going to affect our consciousness as human beings on this planet in this time that we live in, which is very precious. So if you kind of like, when I look at history, I see like the World War II era. I see like World War II era. That's the shit. That's the type of U.S. history that I've been taught, right? So just to kind of give you an example, I'm going to mention it. The World War II era, the Vietnam era, the World War era, the first one. Then we have the Civil War era, right? All these different moments in time in history, there was different levels of consciousness. Like, people in general behaved a certain way during that time. Not only in that country, but in the whole world, right? So just kind of being aware of that, it makes sense to me that, there's going to be a huge consciousness shift happening this December that's going to impact literally everybody. And for the ones who are conscious and aware, they're going to get the most out of it. They're going to get the most like benefit, gain, surplus of like intelligence and knowledge and wisdom given to them. Because when you're in tune with the vibrations of the universe, especially when you're in tune with the vibrations and frequencies of the universe through love, it's a powerful ass frequency that literally taps you into source energy. Source energy meaning God, meaning creation, meaning everything that we are, everything that exists, everything that ever was and will be. That source energy, that being connected to that, I think the only way to be connected to that source energy is through love. And love can be defined in so many ways. I'm gonna have a video on that in the future, talking about what the love frequency is, what the love vibration is, what is love, and what is true love. Not this bullshit mainstream love that we've been taught in society, which is having a partner of the opposite sex and being in love like that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that, also that, but something bigger and all-encompassing even around that. And it has to do with a lot with our sexual energy as human beings, and it has to do a lot with consciousness, the sexual energy that exists within and pervades within all life forms. Because life is sexual energy. Being born is sexual energy. We came from sex. And if you observe nature, I found that when I observe nature, just things exist cohesively and in harmony. And there's a lot of sexual energy, like bees fuck plants. Bees fuck plants, right? Bees fuck plants. Plants come about. And the honey that we eat from the bees is sweet. It's just tastes good and it's good for you. So it's like, wow. Something small like that makes me think like, oh, it makes sense how everything is based off sexual energy. Because what do those bees have to do to get that honey? What do the bees have to do to the plants for us to eat those plants? So I could go on and on, but it's just to name a few examples. Something else. The sun. It's beaming masculine force that shines onto the planet, gives life to plants and us, and gives us melanin. Something like that makes me think like, wow, that's another form of sexual energy, because it has a masculine energy to it. The sun, right? It's just beaming. It's shooting light. It is light. And just kind of learning about masculine and feminine energy, while nature is feminine, and the reason why I think it would be feminine, why nature is a feminine spirit, because everything's a spirit to me. I see everything as a spirit. Why is nature a feminine energy? When I look at nature, I just see like I see habitable chaos. I see all sorts of animals. I see all sorts of insects. I see trees bending this way, that way, going this way. I see just I see beauty, and I see crafting of that chaos, and I see a deep rooted connection to the darker forces of life. I think that feminine energy is that polarity. 'Cause that's why when I see a lot of artists nowadays, they're so fucking feminine, right? Like masculine, like lady boys, right? A lot of artists nowadays that are men behave in a very feminine way, and I'm not even saying that to like say like, oh, men shouldn't be feminine and we shouldn't have a feminine side. That's definitely not what the fuck I'm saying. But what I'm meaning by that is when I see them behave in such a feminine way, and kind of almost a little detached from their masculinity, because true masculinity, I think, I really when I see real masculinity, I see love, I see compassion, I see kindness, and I see truth being spoken, being shared, being given, being received, being circulated, right? Because when you sun gaze, when I sun gaze, I receive so much truth. And I also receive a lot of truth from nature itself, which is feminine energy. So they both have that capacity to truth. But with 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 pot with true masculinity and true femininity, I you know, it just exists in the vibration of love. I see it existing in the vibration of love for anything to even exist. Because again, nature being habitable chaos, it also has order to it, which I think the sun gives it that order. Because the nature couldn't exist without the sun. The sun gives it the life, right? So they work together. They're almost in harmony, but also the sun is kind of detached from the planet. It's detached from planet Earth. It's its own secular form out in space, from what we know, from what I know. So that's something interesting that food for thought to think about. But anyways, I was kind of talking about programming and I went off a little bit on tangent. I was gonna bring that shit back to something, but I don't really know what I was gonna bring it back to. But some more food for thought. Nature, sun, being masculine energy, feminine energy. Oh yeah, I was talking about artists being feminine and stuff like that, and the reason I see that is because they're detached from the true masculinity. I don't think a lot of modern artists nowadays are sun gazing or doing a lot of spiritual practices to evolve their level of consciousness to a high vibrational frequency. If they were, they wouldn't be talking about fucking hoes popping pillies and just making money, being attached to the material. Clearly, there's something going on in the music industry that gives these people power, and now that these people have the power, they have to behave a certain way and they have to embody themselves a certain way, and that over time that kills spirit. So that's why I see a lot of artists doing drugs and drinking alcohol and being addicted to things like sex, and I see it happening so pervasively. It's so common. It's just common. All you have to do is look and see. Look and you'll see, right? And you'll see these things. You'll just see these things. You start paying attention to these patterns within the matrix, within society. You start waking up, and what happens is when you wake up, then other people around you can also wake up by you creating a shift in the tides. Okay, a drop of water will create ripples, right? You are that shift in the tide. You can be the shift in tide. Your consciousness is that powerful. If you truly embody and learn about your inner masculine, your inner feminine, and you learn about your spirit, you learn about consciousness, and you learn about these things, and you start seeking more knowledge, you start seeking answers, then honestly, you'll get it. That's just simple. That's as simple as I can put it. You'll get it. If you seek those answers, you'll get it. You'll get it. If any of what I said made sense, then cool. Go within, tap within, and find the answers for yourself. Don't just take my word for it. Find these answers to yourself. Start meditating. Start evolving. If you need to take plant medicine and psychedelics, do your research. Make sure you please do your research. But it can be a great tool. Start doing your research. Start doing your research not only around, in the physical world through the internet and stuff like that. Don't be dependent on the internet. Don't be dependent on me. Learn to get your answers through experience, through personal experiences, and through going within, to interpreting your own truth, to analyzing it, to really introspecting and kind of diving deep and really paying attention to having that sixth sense of intuition. One of the best things you can do is stop having sex. It's to go on semen retention for men and for women. Sexually transmute all that shit, right? Don't have sex. It's one of the most basic concepts that's been here for years and years that spiritual individuals who tap in can master. They can master their emotions. They can master their mind. They can master these lower forces of life. So sexual energy, nature is sexual energy. Bringing it back now. Nature is sexual energy. Everything's sexual energy. So that's a part of. If you truly want to deprogram yourself from all the bullshit that we've been conditioned through society, and if you actually start paying attention, you'll realize why these things are bullshit. One of the best things you can do is go on semen retention, stop having sex, sexually transmutate all of that energy you have, and put it into something. Put it into meditating. Put it into finding the answers. Put it into doing research. Put it into exercising. Put it into breath work, and put it into just focusing your energies, focusing on your intention, right? You can put it into prayer, because prayer is intention. You're setting intention for love, for abundance, for strength, for knowledge, for wisdom, for higher vibration, for a higher consciousness. You can pray for those things. You can meditate on those things, and you can have those things. Ask and thou shalt receive. It says in the Bible. The Bible is just a part of the consciousness. I don't think that the Bible is the source for all of the answers, but it definitely has a lot of gold nuggets in there. It's a great thing to look into and study. So, and as well as other things, right? We got the Torah, we got Ayurvedic, we got Indian culture with all their stuff. So, anyways, I'm gonna end the video here by saying through all the knowledge that you're gonna gain from doing this kind of work, and through actually putting your intention on a better life and a better way of being, you're gonna get a lot of knowledge and a lot of power. Be mindful of that power, because you can do a lot of harm and create a lot of chaos with it. And if that's what you want to do, then that's what you want to do, then that's what's up. You're gonna get your karma, then that's cool. You do that. But if you wanna truly live in a higher state of being and consciousness, and you can maintain that level of consciousness, and you actually want to maintain the level of consciousness so that you may forever receive the karma that you will be bestowed for staying in that level of consciousness, in that high vibrational frequency, then you're going to receive high vibrational things in your life. Not only that, but within, you're going to feel peace, you're going to feel harmony, you're going to feel love, you're going to feel strong, you're going to feel grounded, and you're not going to be afraid of death, which is the most important thing. Most people are afraid. They're afraid of dying. They're afraid of the coronavirus. They're afraid of the flood that happened in China. Now we're going to lose. There's already a food shortage happening, and people are losing. Soon, people are going to lose their ability to have lower access to survival needs, which is food and water. So something that I want to mention right now is stock up on food and water, because there's a food shortage happening in America, at least, based on China getting flooded. And I want to give a shout out to the YouTuber Spiritual Soul for putting me onto this, because I saw one of his videos, him talking about it, and he put me, including a lot of other people, on. So I want to give a shout out to Spiritual Soul for that knowledge and that message, because it was received. So things are changing, things are evolving. There's gonna this world we live in is gonna fall before it rises. Things are gonna collapse before they truly have a light level of consciousness and change. Just keep your vibrations high, keep your frequencies high, keep your vibes high, keep your focus on yourself, keep doing your work, and realize that everything I just talked about up to this point, this is everything that you can do, everything you can know, everything you can handle, to know these things, to understand these things, to understand these things, to overstand them. And it's nothing special that I'm saying. It's just spiritual knowledge available to anybody, including you, that you can tap into. So with my power, with my knowledge and my insight, all I can do is be grateful for them and give them all back in a focused way to you guys, if you're still watching to this point, to take then and to apply it in your own lives. And I'm just a messenger. Hope you can receive. I'm here to serve you. Anyways, I was here before, I'm here now, and I'll be here after. I don't like the way the fuck my hair looks like when I'm like that. I just like them like that. I was here before, I'm here now, and I'll be here after. Peace!